How's it going, boys? It's me, your favorite snake oils merchant, and the gaming awards of 2020 have concluded, and by no one's shock at all, The Last of Us 2 has won. Now this should not shock you. It is literally the same situation as the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, the whatevers. As long as it has a big stage on it, the most politically correct or the most politically fitting thing is gonna be the winner. There is absolutely no way around it. And considering what The Last of Us 2 was, it's sad because the game was not absolutely atrocious. It was mildly average, but that is not the problem of The Last of Us 2. The problem of The Last of Us 2 is that it should have won the award for the saddest game of 2020. You know why? Because they had a good story, but they completely ruined it. See, a really good story, the story that they had in their minds was extremely simple. You play as the character you know all along. You get to slowly know your opponent, which you do not know you're gonna play as later. You get to know them, you understand that they're a human being, that they have emotions, problems, and all of that stuff. And at some point, that character you have slowly grown to like does that one deed. And then you play as her. And then it's a mixed match of emotions, because none of the characters are evil, they both have justifiable goals, and then one of them dies. Even though none of them died at the end, which is even worse, honestly. But yeah, that could have been the story. If The Last of Us actually pulled that story off, it would have been the best game of the year. Hell, it would have probably been the best game of the next 10 years. But identity politics and all of that crap obviously needs to come into the game space, sadly. So it wasn't like that. Obviously, it's not all identity politics' fault that The Last of Us 2 was much more garbage than anyone had ever hoped it will be. But it is a huge part of it. Because when one of your main characters is more jacked than a kangaroo on steroids, and if you have not seen a kangaroo on steroids, that let me tell you, that shit is absolutely frightening. A kangaroo on steroids is the reason that the meme where a guy comes up to your girl, slaps her on the ass, and you get asked what happens, and the only viable answer is you take what's left of your girlfriend's ass and you run away. Because you don't fuck with a jacked kangaroo, and well, one of the playable characters was more jacked than a kangaroo on steroids, which is by itself kind of hilariously sad to a degree. But yeah, it's sad because The Last of Us could have actually won legitimately, but it didn't. The awards are 100% based on the fact that you have the right politics. Again, anything that has a stage, anything that has celebrities, anything that has a lot of eyes drawn towards it and is not made by a reputable person of a community, is most likely going to succumb to, well, pretty much gender politics or whatever kind of right opinion that you need to have at the right time. Ghost of Tsushima did not win because of that. Exactly because of that. You know why? Because they did not push enough the right opinions. Hell, you were killing Mongolians. That's a no-no, red flag, black flag, white flag, or whatever you want to call it. That's an absolute no-no for a victory of any kind of sorts. But The Last of Us did everything correct, at least in terms of getting the right things in so you get the award. But no one cares about the award, and most people are sad. The saddest part is obviously that The Last of Us could have been the game of the decade, the century, the millennium, the whatever, if they actually made the story good. But they didn't. Sadly, they did not. It fell short. And no one's exactly surprised that they won. The funny part, obviously, is the fact that events like this are made by non-gamers for the small, minute minority of people who play games, and maybe mostly for the people who review games, because it's made by the same people who are gonna say that Ghost of Tsushima is racist because you're killing Mongolians, and there was not enough trans characters to play with. Yeah, you see where the problems start to occur. It's made by people who are completely delusioned by politics in gaming that should not be in gaming in the first place. Gaming should be just about gaming, not politics. But it sadly is mostly about politics, at least for big events like this. And especially for news outlets, gaming journalists, and all of that stuff. I would not trust a gaming journalist even if my life depended on it, because most of them are trash. And this event was exactly made by people like that, who you should never trust because their opinions are not influenced by how good the game is, but what message does the game send. Even though that's not the intent of the game, it was never the intent of the game. So that's pretty much it. Also, it's funny that the creator of The Last of Us, he knew he's not gonna win the popular vote. He even tried up to rile all his fans, all his 20 fans on Twitter that, well, you should vote. Please vote for us. Please, I'm begging you. You know, everyone will laugh at us when we get the award, but the people disagree with us because reasons. You know, I honestly think that the vote was even rigged with bots, so The Last of Us gets more votes. Because Hades, I don't remember the full name of the game, because even Hades was technically better than The Last of Us on many aspects. It didn't garner as much attention, but that's okay. But it still made it to the top, as you could clearly see. It was a fantastic game. It was, by any standards, way better than The Last of Us. But smaller crowd, which is sad. And obviously, the crowd has absolutely no real influence when it comes to actually deciding who gets to win this. Because you need to understand, well, you as a person have absolutely no value when it comes to deciding things like this, when the big wigs who write the stupid articles and the clickbait titles and all of those things in gaming journalists actually decide it. Or some kind of representative or whatever. Jesus Christ. You know, it's simply the fact that gaming journalists can't even say bad things about a game if it is bad, just because they're risking to not get an early access copy of the game to review fast enough. Yeah, opinions like that are corrupt, they're gonna be corrupt, and they're gonna stay corrupt. So if someone's reviewing or rating the awards for something gaming-based, and they're a journalist, their opinion will always 100% of the time be biased against their biggest bread giver. That is just the sad truth. But at least the outrage from the community was good enough, so hopefully the gaming awards, the Grammys, the Emmys, and everything just slowly whittles away like they should. In Hollywood, there's not a single shred of dignity left. A great movie will always come in second after any movie that just pushes the correct agenda. Ah, yes. It is a sad time, but hey, it's at least something, I guess, on one hand. But it is pretty saddening to see things like this. Hopefully the Gaming Awards, Golden Joystick, or whatever awards are not gonna happen next time, because they are a waste of space. The people know which games actually won, because they were just flat out better. But since the opinion of the masses does not matter at all when it comes to the medium you like to do on a daily basis, well, tough luck, I would say. Tough luck. Also, it's funny that already there's, 4chan got blamed, Reddit got blamed, the alt-right got blamed for everything that The Last of Us did not win. If anything, in my opinion, 100%, The Last of Us is the one that actually, if there was botting of the results, The Last of Us botted its results, not the actually other way around. You 100% expect that from people like that. But anyway, so this was Quizzer Sensei. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the channel, check out Discord, check out the Patreon, check out everything, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.